What's up YouTube, it's Partywaffles here, and I'm coming at you guys with a Frost Decay guide for 9.05 because I haven't created one yet, and I figured you guys would like a guide to finish off the season strong so you can know exactly what to do and exactly what I've done to succeed through the season. So if you take a look here, I've queued 2v2 until I was actually the number one DK in 2v2 in North America for quite some time. I think I've been surpassed by maybe a couple points at this point. But so anyways, I queued to number one DK2s. I've queued to 2969 threes and rank 1 RPGs as well. So I slightly know what I'm talking about. And I'm ready to give you guys the information that I've learned throughout the season. And you can apply it to 9.5 in the current patch, okay? So let's get right started. Okay, the first thing we're gonna cover is stat priority. So it's been the same as it's been the entire season. You're gonna go strength, versatility, mastery, haste, crit in that order, okay? So if your stats are looking something like mine, you're doing it correctly. You don't have to have a lot of haste. So when you see 4% haste, don't worry about that. It doesn't matter. But you can either go above 30% versatility, or you can go 30% versatility and just pump the rest of it into mastery and go like 30% verse, 50% mastery, something like that. But this is pretty ideal setup what you have me with right now. And the covenant you're going to be using is going to be Necrolord, obviously, because Abomination Limb is just too good of an ability. You can't pass it up really as a DK. You literally can't, especially as for us. So okay, and following that, let's get into the talents and PvP talents, okay? So I'm only going to show you one build, okay? Because this is the only build that I play, and it's an easy to learn build, easy to use build, and I think it would be the best build for you to use personally, especially if you're watching this guide. So we're going to go with what I play and what most people play. So on the first row, you're going to use Inerexible Assault. Not going to use Icy Talons, not going to use Cold Heart, okay? Icy Talons is more of a dual wield ability because it increases your attack speed. You can pair it up with Frozen Pulse, so then your dual wields will be radiating damage, and it doesn't matter though. It's not for what you're going to be using, okay? Cold Heart is a PvE talent as well. So you're going to be using Inerexible Assault, and then on the second row, you're going to be using Murderous Efficiency. Runic Attenuation is useful too. It's not bad or anything, but the fact that you're pairing Obliteration with Murderous Efficiency means that you should definitely use that one because they go together like bread and butter, like beans on toast. You know what I'm saying? Horn of Winter, blow the Horn of Winter, gain 2 runes and generate 25 runic power. You do not need this either. So you're going to be playing Murderous Efficiency on this row. The next row, it's Blinding Sleet. You're like all there is to this row is nothing. Like you're just going to play Blinding Sleet. Asphyxiate, you don't need that. Maybe in some very niche situations, but I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I haven't played Asphyxiate once. The only time I play Asphyxiate is in RBGs when I'm gonna be doing grip knocks, because you're gonna grip them, asphyxiate them on the edge, and your priest is gonna knock them off. But other than that, you're gonna be playing Blinding Sleet all the time. It's to set up your go, it's offensive, it's defensive, it's just too good. It's just too good of an ability. The next thing we have on this row is going to be Frost Scythe is gonna be for like Mythic Plus. Frozen Pulse, again, I said, is for dual wield with Ice Talons. You use those two together. So we're not going to be using that. We're going to be using Avalanche just for the burst damage. The next row, this is pretty much your choice, right? If you're playing against melee, you could use Permafrost. I don't think it's that great with a two-hander, though. It's kind of better with dual wield since you're getting more auto attacks. But I personally wouldn't use this right now. You can use Death Pack. A lot of people actually like run with Death Pack and enjoy it. Personally, me, every time I don't play Wraithwalk, I kind of regret it because it's like, oh, I get stuck in a root, or like, this is a defensive, right? Death Pack is a defensive, it's a heal, but at the same time, Wraithwalk is a defensive too. You just have to use it more proactively. Like if you know they're popping cooldowns on you, you're just gonna kite, right? Just press Wraithwalk and start kiting with Chains of Ice. Or you can use it offensively. It's a really good offensive too. Like say you're running down a druid or something and you just want to run him down. There you go. So I usually use this 9 out of 10 times. 90 out of 100 times. That's the same thing, my bad. I meant to say 99 out of 100. But the next row, you're going to be using Gathering Storm, okay? You're never going to use... I've never used this once. That was from a different build, but honestly that build feels clunky and I don't really like it myself. So this is the build we're playing. Gathering Storm, alright. Gathering Storm. Each rune spent during Remorseless Winter increases the damage by 10% and extends the duration by 0.5 seconds. So there's that. And then in the final row, you're not going to be playing anything but Obliteration, okay? So Obliteration, while Pillar of Frost is active, Frost Strike and Howling Blast always grant a Killing Machine and have a 30% chance to grant a rune. Killing Machine is one of your Death Knight passive procs. So when Killing Machine procs, it makes your Obliterate a free critical strike. So you'll often see that, and you'll have a free Obliterate critical. That's what that is. And not only does Obliteration give you your free Obliterate criticals when you proc your Pillar of Frost, you can Howling Blast or Frost Strike to make them be a guaranteed crit, but also the critical strikes from Killing Machines it turns your Obliterate into frost damage. So that's why the Mastery is so good, because your Obliterate's going to be doing frost damage, your Chill Streak's going to be doing frost damage. So basically those are your 2 damage dealers, right? But that's that. So this is the spec you're going to play. There's no really changing anything here, okay? You're just going to play this. Unless you want to play Deathpact, you can change that. Now let's talk about the PvP talents, and I'm going to tell you in depth pretty much exactly which comps I use which for, okay? So drink this all in, because this is going to be big information right here. So let's see. Let us see. Chill Streak. I'll start at the top, okay? I'll just start at the very top. Death Chill. You're never going to play this. I've never played this once, okay? You don't need this in any bracket. So don't worry about that, really. Delirium. So, Delirium. It's either going to be between Chill Streak or Delirium, usually. So, this is the setup that I generally am running, right? Against most things. But, Delirium. So, you could either swap that out. You could play like this. Like, say if you're fighting a Fire Mage team, and you're playing TSG, you could play Delirium Zone Heartstop. But, usually it's going to look like this. So, if you're fighting a Mage team or a Caster team, well, not Mage in particular, it's going to look like this, or it's going to look like this, depending how you want to play. You can swap out these two. So this is for if you're fighting a Mage. If you're fighting double caster that isn't a Mage, you can use this. But basically, like, if you think you can land a Chill Streak, you can play Chill Streak, but if you can't land it, you can play Delirium instead to slow their mobility. But yeah, so Necrotic Aura, you basically are going to use this anytime you have an extra talent and you don't know what to take. You can just take Necrotic Aura for damage. So you're going to take that a lot of the time. Death Chill, you're never going to play. Delirium, you're going to play into anything you want to slow their mobility. You don't have to play it. You can play Chill Streak instead, but it just depends how you want to play. Like, you can play this into monks, mages. That's pretty much all that I played into personally, but you can probably play anything that has mobility abilities. You can reduce the cooldown with this. And the next thing is Chill Streak, which this is mostly going to look like what you're going to be playing all the time. Chill Streak is kind of going to be in there about 90% of the time, okay? Because this is your main ability. It bounces between 2 targets, so you're going to want to have the 2 targets close. You're going to Chill Streak, boom. But I'll explain your burst rotation a little bit later in the guide here. Okay, Dark Sim. You could replace. So this is what it's going to look like. You're mostly going to have these two, right? Like the third one is going to be the one you're going to change. Like you're going to swap out for Zone. You're going to swap out for Sim if you want. But personally, I don't really use Dark Sim too much as Frost. But if you are really good with your game knowledge and you know what you can sim and you can, it's like if, say like you're fighting a Paladin, you know like, hey, this Paladin's about to bubble right here. And then you sim and steal the bubble and you throw it on your teammate when he's going to die. Then it's an insane ability. But you really got to know how to use it. So if you're a beginner, I probably don't recommend it because the other abilities are really good and they're just passive. So you don't even have to do anything and they'll still be good. That's the thing. So Cadaverous Pillar. So you have a 20% chance when struck by a magical spell for it to be completely absorbed and converted into disease on yourself, dealing nature damage over time. So if you're fighting like Destro Warlocks or something with like a big magical spell, you could use this. Personally, I haven't really been using it, but it does have its uses. Dead of Winter, I never play this personally. So if I've never played it in any bracket, you really don't need it. Transfusion, it's bad because Death Strike doesn't heal for very much at all right now. Dome of Ancient Shadows, though, this is very important, okay? Very important. So this setup right here, these three, like this, is what you're going to use into Ret Paladin, okay? If you see a Ret Paladin, you play Big Dome. or you will get one-shotted, and as soon as they press wings, you're gonna dome, okay? If there's a fire mage, you play big dome, you're gonna dome the combustion. If there is a boomkin, you play big dome, and you're gonna dome the convoke, or the incarn. You're gonna dome the warlock's dark soul, and the Ellie stormkeeper, if there's no mage or anything other than that that's scary. But other than that, you could play it into DKs as well too to negate their go. But basically, you're gonna play this into any strong caster that you're worried about, and you're gonna play these three probably together. But like I said, versus mage, you could always swap out this one and play like this and just run the mage down completely. But it's up to you. It's basically up to you. And that is all for the talents portion. Okay, boys. The next thing we're gonna look at here is conduits and soulbinds. All right. So I'm gonna give you what I play first of all. This right here is what I've played religiously the whole season in Arena, okay? It's going to be Accelerated Cold, Insatiable Appetite, Everfrost, and Fleeting Wind. If you're fighting a caster, you could swap to this path for the bigger anti-magic zone. But usually I just run this one so that I can catch up to them easier for my grip line stun setups. But yeah, so Marilith is kind of like tanky, right? Because you're going to be getting the ooze frictionless coating. This is really good in 2v2, and it's good in 3v3. It's just an overall reliable build that you can play. Another one that's good is this, okay? The Emni build is good. This path right here, or this one over here, if you want the spam fear. But the Emni path is more of a melee cleave path. So if you're in threes and you're playing melee cleave, you can use this, give your partners extra strength, everything like that on your A-bomb limb. It's really, really good for melee cleaves. But personally, I wouldn't play for twos. But yeah, so this one to tank in twos, that kind of thing. This one for threes if you're playing a melee cleave, or twos, but I would personally recommend Marilith with this path for twos. As well, as much as the potency conduits go, you can swap out some of them. Like, you're going to keep this one, but you can pretty much play a second potency, whatever you want, like whatever fits your spec or your comp, whatever you're playing the most. Personally, I'm just playing Everfrost, but you could play this as well. You can also play the Lich Wall conduit for the endurance or the finesse conduit. I can't remember which one it was, but there's it makes your Lichborn give you like a 10% damage reduction. You can play that as well, but like these are all just personal preference for the most part. But yeah, so this is Emni, and then this one right here, Bonesmith Hermir. So this one is what I play. This build right here is what I play in RBGs. Because with Bonesmith Hermir, when you die, you can still keep attacking for a little bit. So if you're spinning a flag or something like that, it's really big value. It gives you an extra few seconds to spin the flag if your team's dying, and maybe your healers can get back in time or something like that. But yeah, that's basically that. So the next thing after that we're going to look at really quickly is just legendaries, which is going to take all of 1 second. Because there's one legendary that you're going to play as Frost. One legendary to rule them all, and that's this one you're looking at right here. Absolute Zero. Equip Frostbrim's Fury, has a 50% reduced cooldown and freezes all enemies hit for 3 seconds. So you guys, I'm sure you guys have already seen this. It's not, the season didn't just start yesterday. You already probably all know what this is, but I'm just going to show you really quickly. One time really quick, and then we'll get into the burst rotation. So see this? Boom, I just froze that entire team right there. So if they were doing damage, they're not doing damage anymore. If they were going to die and healing themselves, they're not healing anymore. They're basically not doing anything. It's just an AoE stun, and it has a million different uses. Okay, now let's take a look at the next part. The damage, rotation, and priority for your spells is pretty simple as Frost, okay? It's pretty simple. I'm just going to show you how you're going to open up, okay? So say this is your target here, you're going to open on them. You're going to start with Remorseless Winter, Howling Blast, and then you're going to go up, you're just going to obliterate, and then you're just going to go from there. This procs, you're going to hit that, and then you're going to Frost Strike, whatever. But the main thing is this, okay? So you're playing Gathering Storm. So each rune spent Remorseless Winter increases its damage by 10% and extends its duration, right? So that's why you're opening with the Remorseless Winter so that you get it up, and then you're going to Howling Blast, so you apply your dot, and it's going to give you a stack for your Gathering Storm. You're going to hit again. It's going to just... So basically, the reason you're proccing this first is so that you can just proc the Gathering Storm, right? So you want to use this, then you want to dump all the runes into it just to keep the damage going and keep the Remorseless Winter flowing. So that's pretty much it. So you're going to prioritize pressing this, and then you're just going to prioritize keeping your dot up, and after that you're just going to be pressing obliterates. If you can't obliterate, if you get a Howling Blast proc, you're going to press that. If you don't have a Howling Blast proc, you're going to Frost Strike. So that's basically all it goes. It goes prioritize the Remorseless Winter, and then prioritize Obliterate, and then you're gonna prioritize procs like a Howling Blast proc or an Obliterate crit proc, and then you're gonna Frost Strike if there's nothing else. And that's pretty much all of that rotation. As for the burst rotation is pretty simple as well. So it's simple until you go up against people that know what you're doing and they know how to avoid it, okay? But basically this is it, all right? So you can either, I'm gonna teach you a little trick too. So this is the setup normally, all right? So you say this is your target right here. You're gonna grip this guy over, grip the second target over. You're gonna blind them both together. They're both blinded, right? Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna pop Remorseless Winter while they're blinded. You're gonna Pillar of Frost and you're gonna stun them. And then you're gonna pop Chill Streak. And then you're just gonna start proccing your Obliterate crits. And the way that you proc your Obliterate crits is by either hitting Howling Blast or Frost Strike. Like if you see it, it'll make the ability light up, okay? So that's one way that you can do the burst. So that I'll just tell you again in slow motion here. So that was, I grip the targets together, I blind them together, and then while they're blinded, I'm gonna hit Remorseless Winter because it's not gonna break the blind. And then out of the Remorseless Winter, I'm gonna hit Pillar of Frost, Empowered Rune Weapon, and my stun all at the same time. They're gonna get stunned. I'm gonna drop the Chill Streak, and then I'm either going to Frost Strike or Howling Blast, one of the two, so that I can get an Obliterate crit. I'm gonna use the Obliterate crit, and then I'm gonna swap back to a Frost Strike, and then use another Obliterate crit, and continue. So that's one way you can do it. Another thing you can do, so there's one other thing though, is Abomination Limb, okay? So you can either use the Abomination Limb, you can use it right before you pop your setup, so right before you grip, or you can grip the Abomination Limb, blind them, and use the Abomination Limb as the grip, or you can just use Abomination Limb as damage and pop it right before your burst. Like blind them while they're blinded. You could pop Abomination Limb. You could go Remorseless Winter, Abomination Limb, and then proc your Pillar of Frost and stun Chill Streak and go from there. Or sometimes this will happen, okay? You'll go to do your setup, you'll grip them or something, or you'll miss your grip, or like something will happen and it'll mess up your grip, right? Or like you'll grip them and you'll blind them and they'll be too far away, right? So say this guy's over here and he's blinded. The thing is, if you pop your Abomination Limb, it's not gonna break the blind. So they're both blinded. You stand on top of this guy with A-Bomb Limb, and then you shoot your dragon like this. The second he gets stunned, it's instantly gonna pull him on top of you, and then you can Chill Streak. So A-Bomb Limb, that's why A-Bomb Limb is so good. If you mess up your grip or anything like that, or mess up your go, all you gotta do is like blind them. It doesn't matter how far away as long as they're both blinded, even if they're like one's here and one's here, and they're way out of Chill Streak range, it doesn't matter. Because like I said, the A-Bomb Limb will not break the blind. So you proc A-Bomb Limb while you're standing right on top of the guy, you press your stun on both of them, and the second the stun hits the guy over here where my cursor is, it's instantly gonna pull him over here, and then you can just throw your Chill Streak then. So there's a couple little mechanics like that with A-Bomb Limb that can really save you. So you can either use A-Bomb Limb offensively, or you can use it to set up the go, or you can use it to stop spells. But yeah, that's basically all there is to the burst. You're just gonna blind them, stun, Chill Streak, and pop all your damage. But you don't always have, so the blind though, you don't always have to set it up with the stun. Like sometimes you can just grip stun it, but to be safe, like I'm gonna be honest with you guys, chat. I played super scripted all the way to 2970. Like I just grip blind stunned, and I like pretty much blinded religiously for the stun, and it worked perfectly for me. So you can definitely do that. You don't have to go off script very much, and especially not at lower rating. It will work just fine with you. And yeah. Lastly here, we're just gonna get to one thing, and it's Runeforging, okay? I guess I'll just go over all the important ones. I'm gonna skip out on some of them because they're irrelevant, but so right off the bat, the one you're gonna play is gonna be Rune of Razor Ice, okay? It's the most damage for Frost. You're just gonna play this. It's just the best damage. That's all there is to it. So Sanguination, this one right here, if you're playing 2v2 as double DPS, you can use this just for an extra heal, but it's not really gonna be important in 3s, or if you're pushing rating with a healer in 2s, you're not gonna play this, so it's not that, I mean, it's kind of niche. It's good in duels, stuff like that. Spell warding, if you have a second weapon and you can throw a spell warding on this, you could play spell warding. You can play this into double caster, because double caster is notoriously hard for us. So you could definitely play this into double caster if you have a second weapon. Personally, I don't, but yeah. Fallen Crusader, it's just worse than Razor Ice. Just don't play this unless you're unholy. Yeah, that's basically all that matters for this. Well, boys, that's all for today's lesson. So, with all these tools that I've just given you, you should be able to succeed to whatever rating you want. And if you have any other questions, you can always find me on twitch.tv/PartyWafflesX. I stream about five days a week currently, so you can catch me on there and you can ask me any other questions if you have any. But I promise you with this, you should be able to succeed to whatever you need. At any rating, I believe in you. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day. If you have any comments, leave them down below, and hit the like button, subscribe. Take it easy.